I don't know if you guys remember that one trend that was viral on TikTok for a little bit, but it was called the hair holds memories trend. And basically, what people would do is they would post before and after pictures of their haircut with the caption, hair holds memories. And it would basically show this major transition or identity shift that they had. And I thought that this was a really cool trend, and it's something that really connected with me because of my own experience that I will get into in a little bit, but also because it showcases that our hair holds a lot of energetic weight. It's also commonly believed that hair is kind of like an extension of our nervous systems, and because it carries so much of our emotional and mental weight, it also takes our experiences and our memories with us, which is interesting, and it sounds very new agey, but it's been around for so many years. In Indigenous cultures, it's believed that hair is strongly tied to our strength, identity, and connection to the earth. So when people do cut off their hair in Indigenous cultures, it usually signifies some type of mourning or loss or stepping into a new period of your life. In Buddhist and Hindu practices, it's very similar but a little bit different. But what they do instead is they will shave off all their hair. And this is an act of surrender or some kind of, it's a way to release past trauma and also some kind of transformation. But all in all, you'll notice that in many different cultures, it's known that cutting your hair is a physical, visible act of purification. And when it's done, it's usually because you're stepping into something new and letting go of what once was. And that's why you'll notice a lot of the time when your sister is going through a breakup or when your best friend is going through some kind of loss or identity shift, she feels drawn to cut off all her hair. And maybe that's because she feels a subconscious or energetic pull to step into something new and let go. This concept really resonated with me because of an experience that I had during one of the most difficult periods of my life. I've talked about this before, but I'm going through what you would call a metamorphosis journey. And throughout this transition period in my life, I've had a lot of interesting experiences, and cutting my hair was one of them. To sum up a little bit of what was happening that brought me to this place is a few years back, I was forced to face all of the darkest, most uncomfortable parts of myself. It was not easy because my entire life I've been somebody that ran away from my problems. I did not like to look at myself. I don't like discomfort. I don't like anything that's difficult. I'm a very avoidant person. I'm not going to lie. But during that period, all of my childhood trauma that I've been suppressing, my shame, limiting beliefs that I'd been accepting were coming to the surface, and I was being forced to face them and peel all those layers back. And I really, really wanted to run. But at that period in my life, there was no way that I could have ran. Like, I was forced to peel back all those layers. And in the pursuit of diving deeper and discovering those darker aspects of myself and really uncovering that, I discovered a lot of different things that were a little more unconventional at the time. And one of the things that I discovered was called energy work. As I was learning about energy work, I learned this concept of our body holding frequencies. And what this does is when we go through some kind of traumatic event or we carry a lot of negative belief systems, this gets stuck in our energetic field and it causes a lot of stagnation or some kind of physical or mental ailments. And what energy work does is it allows us to peel back those layers and help that energy or that stagnant energy to flow freely again. I was going through so much, I had nothing to lose at that point. I thought, okay, let me give this a try. So I was looking up energy healers in my city and I discovered this one woman and I felt so drawn to her because she seemed very practical, and that's something I was looking for at the time. I was looking for more of a grounded approach that had a mix of science and spirituality. When I first started, I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't notice much. In hindsight, the changes were very gradual. I was having some changes, but nothing that I could notice because it wasn't major. And so I went through my sessions and I thought, okay, this really isn't for me. It's not working. And my last session, I couldn't cancel. So I decided to still show up. And that very last session was when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not coming back here. This is not really working for me. But when I went into my last session, that's when things started popping off. Like, that is when I started noticing major shifts. Sometime after my last session, I was sitting on the couch and all I remember is I was feeling these really weird sensations within me. I don't know how to describe it. It is so hard to verbalize. You just have to sit there and go through it to really understand. But it wasn't sadness or anything like that. It was just like a lot of feelings that were happening, and it almost felt like there was so much just swirling inside this area, like my chest, my torso. And I was looking next to my partner and I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I feel like I'm about to have an emotional explosion. And that's exactly what happened the next day. I had an emotional explosion and it felt great. But right after that experience I went into the mirror, I looked at myself and I decided to cut off all my hair. And if you know me, you know that this is something that is so out of character because my hair, my entire life has been my safety blanket. I would have rather died than ever touch my hair. Like my hair was something so important to me and it was deeply tied to my identity. I am not somebody who would have made an impulsive decision like that about my hair, but that moment, something just felt like I should have done it. And after making that very impulsive decision, I thought I would feel instant regret, but I didn't. I looked at myself and I felt so much lighter. Like I was almost weirded out that I didn't feel any kind of guilt or negative emotion when I cut off all my hair. Like it was really strange. And so I thought, okay, my hair looks super jaggedy right now. I'm not any kind of hairstylist. When I cut my hair, it looked crazy. So I went to the salon. I let them know that I wanted to start over and I wanted a pixie cut. After I came out of that salon, I pulled up in a pixie cut and everybody around me was like, girl, what the fuck did you do? The last thing people would have expected for me to do was get a major haircut like that because everybody around me knew how important my hair was to me. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of those girls that can rock a pixie cut. Okay, some girls look amazing in it, but I didn't care that I looked bad because I felt so comfortable. I don't know if this was just the algorithm working in funny ways or if this was a coincidence, but it was a pretty popular trend at the time. It was called the hair holds memories trend that I was talking about earlier. When I came home after getting my hair cut, I saw this trend. It was going around and it was just the idea that our hair carries energy. And that's when I started doing this deep dive and I was just very fascinated and I felt like all of this was eerily connected in a way because I did this energy work of releasing and then I let go of the one thing that I was too stubborn to release. And I don't know, all of it just felt like it was eerily connected in a way. It felt like I was being nudged to just let go of the one thing that I refused to let go of my entire life. And it's just really interesting the way that things played out. Since that experience, it's been a few years, my hair has fully grown back. And I don't think I'm ever going to get a pixie cut again because I'm not going to lie, it does not suit me. But I mean, I look back at that experience and I look at pictures of myself before my haircut, during my haircut, and now. And the identity shift that I had so far is insane. Like, I don't even recognize the person that I used to be. This is probably the most comfortable I have ever felt in my skin. And prior to cutting my hair, I used to hide a lot. And now I don't really hide behind my hair. It's almost like, yeah, honestly, this is the most comfortable I've ever felt in my skin. And it feels great. I feel like in letting go of my safety net, I created so much more space for myself. And if you're somebody that's listening to this and you're feeling this nudge to cut your hair, but you're scared, maybe that feeling is not so random. Letting go in general is something that's absolutely terrifying, especially when it comes to your hair, because for a lot of us, our hair is our safety blanket and it's deeply tied to our own identity. And getting a pixie cut is very much out of a lot of our comfort zones. But maybe if you're feeling drawn to cut your hair, whether it's a pixie cut or a bob cut, if that feeling is coming up and you're scared, maybe it's not so random. Give it a try and you know what? Your hair grows back anyway. So does hair hold memories? I don't know. Does it? You tell me. I mean, my experience was really interesting, but I'd love to hear more about what you guys think. Whether hair carries memories or not, I don't know, but all I'm going to say is the concept of this is so beautiful because even though we carry these memories or experiences, we also have the power to release them.